beautiful souls. After doing my last video where there were so many crows in the forest, it was called A Visit to the Forest. Nature Speaks Through a Tree. And the crows were chatting the whole time. And when I was leaving, I just had to stop because I realized that they were flying through the forest and I could see them flying. And so I stopped and taped them for a while. And they even started to fly up over above me. And for a moment, I thought they were a bit irritated, maybe, that I was there doing a video. But I know that Crow is the messenger. So when I got home, I looked up crow medicine. And here's what I found. Crow medicine is an extremely powerful and sacred medicine that acts as a bridge between the laws and habits of spirit and those of humanity. Having trouble reading my own writing here. So, as a bridge between the laws and habits of spirit and those of humanity. It encourages personal integrity based in spirit and the examination of beliefs to ensure they align with one's soul. Crow medicine is seen as a protection of sacred texts and ancient records, and it is often an omen of change, inviting individuals to reflect on their personal convictions and truths. And it was interesting because I have had the crows show up before when I was doing light language. This was a very powerful experience, actually. I hope it's not troubling to some, but I have a friend who does a call with me once a week. She lives in Nova Scotia, so she's on the Atlantic coast of Canada, and I am on the Pacific coast. I used to live in Nova Scotia, so we were friends at that time. And we've kept our connection because we have realized that when we work together to offer healing to the earth and humanity, very powerful things happen. And this one day, we had decided what we were going to work on, and it was related to graves being found at the former residential schools in British Columbia. And we had decided that we would work on that. And at the time, I was living in a place where there was three tall fir trees in the backyard. And a pair of crows had decided to nest in those trees. And one of the crows had the most unique call. It was just so unusual and different from most crows that I've ever heard. And my first thought was, oh my goodness, I'm going to be listening to these crows all summer. But I soon came to appreciate them, and especially that unique call of one of the crows of the pair that were living in the tree. And just as my friend and I had decided what we were going to work on that day, and I was sitting and centering myself to bring through the light language, I heard a large bang. I think I've shared this before in another one of my videos. It sounded like a gunshot, and it shocked me, and I was scared for a moment. And then I realized, what is going on? And then I heard some people talking outside. So I said to my friend, please hold on. I just have to go out and find out what that was because it was so loud. And I walked out the back and out to the front, and there were people standing there talking, and they were looking at a dead crow on the ground, and it had just been electrocuted when it landed on the power center that was on the pole outside my yard. And I knew instantly, for one thing, that Crow was going to be the messenger for what we were doing that day, and it was going to take our message to spirit. And also had a strong feeling that it was that very special crow in my backyard that had that very distinct call. And sure enough, it was. I never heard that crow again. And I left it for a while because I know that crows sometimes will gather when another crow dies. They will gather and kind of have their own ceremony. But I didn't want to leave it there overnight and have other animals picking at it. So I asked my landlord for permission to bury it under the tree where it lived with its partner. And he said, "You want to bury a crow?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And I did bury the crow under the tree. But all that to share that crows definitely are messengers, and I knew that that is what that crow was doing, and it was a very powerful light language experience that we did that day. And I realized that day that when graves are dug, especially these graves of young children, Mother Earth felt like these spirits that she had been nurturing were ripped away from her. So it was quite profound. And we did a lot of work around it and did a lot of healing around it, and certainly received clarification at the end that the work that we had done was definitely appreciated. So I just wanted to share that story about crow and how powerful they are. And now I'm just going to leave you with the video that I took. You can see it happening here now of the crows flying through the trees and their voices. I have no idea what's going on with the crows. If anyone knows, please put a comment below. They're coming closer to me now. Hopefully they're happy with the sharing of the light language in the forest.